right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, highest honors to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rawachach Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father in Paleo Ancient Hebrew, Yahweh Shai being the name of the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. His name is Paleo Ancient Hebrew. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone that rule well. Salutations to you brothers that preach, teach, and prophesy this word in truth and sincerity as we put our lives on the line in these last days to bring you this raw and this uncut truth. So Brother Ariaga from the Grand Rapids, Michigan camp here with another nifty lesson. All right, let's get to it.
I am really struggling.
All right, so this lesson we'll be going into the condition of our women in this kingdom, and specifically the so-called black women. For all you so-called Native Latinos and Negro women, you're in bad condition because of these curses that you're under. Most High has put it on your spirit to basically be separated and against, for the most part, for the mass majority, against the men of your nation. And you don't see this as much in other nations. You see enough of it in Esau's nation, which will be in my second lesson. But in this one, it's bad, man. To the point where they cannot hide it anymore. I remember the days where you used to be able to talk to one of our women and get their number, chill out, might link up with them later and be cool, man. Now it's to the point where if you don't look a certain way, if you're not a certain height, if you don't have a certain pair of shoes on, you can't get what they call play, man. No play. You just in a position where you just get, oh yeah, yeah, and then she end up laughing at you or playing you. And it's crazy because they'll be in a situation like this woman and still play a proud role. See, that feminist agenda is one of the worst things that, the Rothschilds has initiated on you women, because that's where it really came from. It came from, these elites. And it's a wicked device that they utilize to keep the both sexes against each other and keep each other, or keep us at each other's throats and separated, because it causes disorder. And the main place it causes disorder is in the household. Okay? In the household, we don't have the nuclear household anymore. For the most part, the households that we see right now are single mothers, raising the children. And to some of these individuals that I'm going to show you in this video, they are not exempt. And I don't know if this woman right here has children. She probably doesn't. I don't know. Yet you are very difficult to deal with. And they'll say, oh, well, these men are difficult. Let me tell you something about men. A man would be grateful, for the most part, most men, would be grateful to find a woman that's dealing with him and that's really into him. You know what I'm saying? But that's not something that we often see. Like, I remember we used to, back in the day when I used to go to the club, when I was younger, hey, somebody come out with something on their arm, a chick on their arm, or meet a couple females. Because that was the point of going to the club, was to meet the opposite sex. Get up with your boys, you know what I'm saying? They get up with their homegirls and, get to dancing and meet somebody new. You know what I mean? That was the point. Now it's like a race to see how many free drinks a woman can get off a dude and leave. Not with, it used to be at one point, it was like get a bunch of drinks off of one dude and leave with another dude that they like. But now they just get a bunch of drinks off of a dude and go home and call on their ex or call on, Chad or Tyrone to come and beat their guts up, at 3 or 4 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning. I mean, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the trend now. Or some of them go home and they'll deal with their homegirls. Their homegirls are, get into that homosexual act and You know, they'll knock each other off or whatever, or play with these toys that overstimulate them and do more than a man, and then they wonder why they're not getting pleased by men as much because these toys that you use are oversized, or they give you these unnatural, um, um, pleasurable changes that most men can't lead up to because it's not natural. It's a robot basically. You know, these toys they have like the rolls and all that, and they want somebody to do that to them, and they use it every day and so much. It's like you reaching a threshold that a human being, for the most part, at times cannot reach and give you that pleasure. So now you like, oh man, ain't shit. Can't nobody please me because your bar is set so high from dealing with the rolls and these different sexual toys. They even got the machine with the dildo on it, and it pumps it, gets the pump and them boom boom boom, and they can control it with it. You want these unnatural things going inside of you, and then you want men. You want to somehow, when you finally do allow man in, you want him to lead, or do better than a machine can or a toy, and it's maddening because this is the society that we live in America. Okay, and then you end up in a certain situation like this, or you're very difficult to deal with because men are accustomed to dealing with rejection from the time that we're children all the way up. We get accustomed to hearing no and stop and don't and you can't. While most girls and females are treated in a different fashion in this country. Yes, oh okay, yes you can, and they get the eligibility for certain things that men don't. They cater more to women in this society from a very early. Oh, you're a princess. You can have the world and just and everything is yours. And you know, these males don't have a solid foundation, and the father is not in the home. You're surrounded by women teachers. The vast majority of the individuals that teach these young males in this society are females, women of other nations, and they forcefully impose these ideals on them. And then the same thing happens to these women, where in these schools they cater more to these girls, how they learn, their self-esteem, and at the end of the day, what happens is you have this proud behavior, a proud mind state, the same pride that these curses in Isaiah the third chapter and Deuteronomy, um, the 20th chapter tell you about. And once you acquire those curses, you ended up in a situation like this because nobody wants to deal with you. These men aren't putting up with that anymore because it's getting overbearing. For one, when we go and we want to escape, men used to go to video games and movies. We can't go to that anymore because Lord knows all of the Marvel movies has turned into, a feminist agenda, and all the strongest Marvel characters are women, Phoenix and what's that chick's name? Captain. You know, Lord have mercy. I can't believe I forgot her name. That's how disappointed I am with this shit. Star Wars. Oh, Captain Marvel. Star Wars and destroyed it with all these liberal agendas, and these women get behind the scenes. Now it's just about homosexuality and women's lives and rights and feminist agenda. The things that men like, video games. Lord knows they didn't spread all of that bullshit to the video games that are primarily played by men, not women, by men. And they take titles that men enjoyed and that were made, and the main characters were men, and they wait to one and maybe two, and then three, four, five, and six, they just make it all about women. No. Why are you putting women behind the scenes in these games and these things that men like to play and watch? and wonder why we're not engaged as much anymore, because that was our escape. This was a thing for men. You don't see us on Lifetime. Oh, we want more men channels on Lifetime and all this other shit. No, we let women have what they have, and men want what they want. But regardless of the matter, it's gotten to the point where these women are overprivileged and they're hard to deal with. And instead of men sitting back and dealing with all of that bullshit, they rather be alone because they have peace. We have peace. We can figure out what we got to do, and we can listen to the Most High. And, instead of having to always please your wife and this woman that is hard to please because she's grown comfortable um, in this society that has been established for women, this metropolis, which means mother city, for the opposite sex, and to take it easy on them and have all these different DHS and EBT benefits for them and make it hella hard for us as men to stand on these things. We tired of it. And we'd rather be alone or deal with, a freak hoe that's going to come and give us what we want and then shoot out, as to trying to get married in this society. That's why the marriage rate is so low. Then you have our women that are talking like this, and they don't understand why, and we tell them and they still don't get it, because what you look like, how you hold yourself, just like when they turn us down and shut us down, is unacceptable. But they think for some reason, because you've been treated softly and cool your whole life, you think that this is how things are supposed to go because you are a woman. And if your behavior, if the way you look and your ideals are unacceptable, men are not going to deal with you, period. Regardless of if you do this or not. Let's go.
I am really struggling with something and I want to talk about it. But before I do, I need people, if you are a parent who was like touched out by your children, I do not want to see you in the comments. If you are someone with any kind of neurodivergency and it manifests or shows up as you not liking touch or people touching you, I do not want to see you in the comments. Okay? But I feel like I'm dying from like touch starvation, y'all. I don't get hugs. I don't know. I feel like if I were to get the kind of hug that I fucking really want, I would crumble into pieces. I don't. How do you deal with that? I really like need to be like touched. And I know someone's gonna say like, okay, go to the salon and get your hair done, or get a massage, or get your nails done, right? So someone can hold your hand. None of those people love me. None of those services love me.
Let me tell you something off rip that I see. She has an attitude issue. I can see it in her face and her mannerisms. It's a man of 39 years old, has 2 marriages and many women that I've dealt with in my life. Let me tell you something, man. She has an attitude. A lot of these women in this kingdom have the attitude like the world, the men owe them something. And then through years of slavery and these different devices, a lot of our women think that they're above us and they're better than us. They're men. And you don't see that in other nations, other countries, unless democracy is set down.
Right? But I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling with like I don't get hugs. That shit is it could be like maybe a hello, whatever, maybe. But it's not enough. I don't know how. I don't know how you. How am I gonna go the rest of my life like this? I think that that's really hard. I'm just really struggling. I'm really struggling. Like I spent like last night just going like this. Like 20 minutes. I'm just, if anyone else is struggling, what are you doing? I am really struggling with something and I want to talk about it.
Yeah, this is the reality of feminism. This is what it does. Men are just not going to continue caving in and fall into the ideals. All right, everything is yours. You can tell me what to know, because it's not correct. And we know that by nature, that that's not correct. That's incorrect. Um, and what happens? How many men feel like this? Women outnumber men on this planet. But how many men feel like this? And we're told, "Oh, you weak, suck it up, deal with it. You're supposed to be a man." And if you're a stoic, that's what you're gonna do. Guess what? We gotta go. First thing, we gotta look in the mirror. Okay, I'm toe up looking. I might be skinny as hell, or I might be overweight like her. First thing a man is encouraged to do is work on your body, work on yourself, work on your own image, your physical and your mental image. Work on that. Make yourself desirable. Turn into the person that you know the opposite sex desires. I mean, work really hard at it. And it might take a year or two, or it'll take time to get to the place that you desire. But that's what we're encouraged to do. When you hear that red pill content and what have you, this is what we're encouraged to do as men. Because all we do is get rejected majority of the times in our lives. So we're forced to adapt and become what we desire, because nobody's going to hold our hand and rub our back, squeeze and rub your feet and tell you everything's going to be all right. But I'm looking at the comment section on these videos and it's ridiculous. These women come in, "Oh my gosh, I just feel for you. And you feel for it because you are the same way. But at the same time, nobody perish being innocent, as the scriptures say. People die in this place, right? And she feels she's probably on the brink of suicide. Who knows? But when you go in these manners, nobody's innocent. Oh, it's just everybody else. And I'm just such a great, loving person. When a man is forced to change the way he looks and his financial ceiling, he's forced to change these to be accepted by the women of the society. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. She's a big one. She's a big one. You see what I'm saying? See, all of this time you got to yourself, look, you need to be praying and fasting. Because if you a woman that's having trouble losing weight, fast. Let your body eat that fat. See, it comes down to discipline. And if you're not disciplined enough to attain the things that you desire, your last bet is to come on social media crying and looking for some sort of empathy from the world. A pat on the back, because that's what women are accustomed to in this nation. Lord knows I done seen videos of our women talking about they don't need the men of our nation, that, they thanking the government is they dad, they baby daddy and all of this shit. I'm like, damn, man. Don't nobody else do that but y'all, man. And it's frankly embarrassing, because a woman is a reflection of the state of a man's nation, man. Are they indecent and are they in order? It shows that the men of that nation, for the most part, have their shit together. But this type of stuff is a shame to our nation as men, because our men, or excuse me, our women, buck up against us and find fault with us and why we lead and how we lead, and think they can tell us when they ain't even grew up in a household with a father. They don't know what leadership look like. And you end up in a situation like this where she's had a chance. Look, man, every woman on this planet has had a chance. Okay? To find a husband, to find somebody that loves you and care. But guess what? They didn't look a certain way. They didn't have they weren't a certain height. They weren't light enough. They wasn't dark enough. Ain't have enough money in their pocket. They ain't have a car and all of this other shit. And you turn them down and they was really for you. They really wanted to be with you. And then you hit that wall near your 30s and up, and you want all of these different things, and you figure, let me tell you something. In this society, women age like milk, men age like wine. The reality of it in every society is this. Because in a man's age, he's supposed to increase in the things that he can do, whether it be financially, being a wiser leader, his logic increases. And a woman is built, this society is mainly built off your attraction to your looks. Attract a man to you by your looks and by your being a feminine woman and being the things that the Heavenly Father has made you to be as a support. But you looking for a partner. They don't say nowhere in the Bible talking about a man finding a partner, finding a wife. And a wife is not a partner. A wife is a helpmeet, as they will call it. The word even goes back to being servant. Check this next one out, man. Because there was a lot of women that left, these sympathy videos and shit like that.
I feel like I'm dying from like touch starvation, y'all. I don't. This isn't. I don't get hugs. I don't know. I feel like if I were.
And when somebody is difficult to deal with, you're not going to get these things. I got homegirls that I'm cool with. When I see them, we all right, give them a hug and shit because they cool as hell. Somebody that's difficult to deal with, they got an attitude, that's a bitch. Don't nobody want to fucking hug you or talk to you. Men look the other way and avoid that shit. It ain't necessary just because of the way you look, because if you was cool as hell, men would be like, hey, man, shit. She don't look the best. But damn it, she can cook. I see her house always clean and she humble. That's the type of things that attract a man. It don't always have to be about how fat your ass is, how big your titties, all that shit. If you're an acceptable woman because of the way you hold yourself and you conduct yourself, those are things that attract a man. But if he's looking at you and he's thinking and you see that attitude on your face and you look over there all stank at him and shit, that's going to deter men from even approaching you because your energy is off, man. And they can tell, oh, yeah, she's a bitch. You got that, she's a bitch energy.
Get the kind of hug that I fucking really want, I would crumble into pieces. Watching that video, I had such a strong reaction to it. Like, I almost cried because she talks about later on in the video how she like will spend like minutes, like 20 minutes doing this, like just touching herself. And then I saw another one where the woman would go like this, or I think it was like this, and like pretty much hug herself. And let me tell you, I have been suffering from touch starvation for the better part of this year. And like I'll say this, I have children, and so my kids are very affectionate. Like they hug me, but I mean like adult touch. Like I don't get.
And that's one of the reasons why when a woman separates from a man, she take the children with her outside of what the state allows. You know what I'm saying? They shoot to do that because, see, all of that affection and love, let's say you've been in a marriage for 10 years, 12, 13 years. She gets accustomed to the kisses and you might hit her on her butt. You might sport with her and play with her, have sex, all these different things, right? That's dopamine. That's endorphins that build up, and that's dopamine that's released from the brain, right? And they give them that feel good feeling because just to know that somebody cares about them, right? But then, the separation takes place, whether it be because of her or him. She's not happy is usually the explanation. In this society, she's no longer happy and she separates from that. And to continue to get some kind of feeling of love and want and acceptance, they'll take the children with them. Most men can live a stoic life like, well, shit, I got to figure it out by myself. You know what I'm saying? Got to do what I got to do. Might find some female company here and there, get another woman or start another family, whatever it may be. Yet, they take them because they know without them children, that they had, if the state was just to give it to the man, she would have no support financially and emotionally. Oh yeah, children come and hug them and oh, we love you, mommy, and oh, all of this other shit because they see mom crying, but they don't realize the hole that mom dug herself in to be in that emotional state, man.
That and it's really apparent when I'm like laying in the bed at night and I'll like start like just rubbing my thigh or like I'll do like she does and I'll start like just doing this to myself.
Yeah, because that's what your man used to do. He'd get in the bed. I remember shit. I get in there with my lady, get the rubbing on them thighs, boy. Let me tell you something. A man love to squeeze on them thick thighs. Like, I ain't talking about fat and obese ass thighs. I'm talking about them nice, thick little thighs, a little thigh, man. Slapping and clapping, rubbing on that arm. Because that's yours, man. It says when in the scriptures it says when a woman, when a man getteth the wife, he begetteth a possession. What did they do? You see that dude out there rubbing on his car, don't you? Got that rag, he got that nice car. Them cats had that nice ass car, that Hellcat or that nice Ford, that Camaro, that Corvette, the white guys, older white guys. And they'll be out there every Saturday, that bucket of soapy water with the special solution, and they rubbing that car down and shit, spraying it with the hose and shit. They cleaning that car off. They rubbing it down. They open up the door, vacuum the inside. You know what I'm saying? Because that's their possession and they proud of it, man. That's the same thing with your woman. Now you got to rub your own thighs and rub your own arms and shit because you didn't got into it with the men you was with. Whether they was a decent man or they was just a Chad or Tyrone. Guess what? You still allowed them into you and had children with them. And then later on, whether it be because you're not happy or because they wasn't shit, still, it falls on you. You want to say my body and my choice? Fine. But if you let a man that ain't shit go into you, that's your fault. The outcome of that is your fault because it's your body and it's your choice, man. Take responsibility. Before I've done this and like bursted out crying. I didn't realize how really starved I was of physical touch. And for somebody like me whose love language is physical touch, that's a really difficult thing. For the record, most women, if not all women's love language is physical touch. Okay, because that's a sign of affection and love. When we get the rubbing on our women, squeezing on them and hugging them and shit. That's natural, man. Some men, you ain't even got to do that to most men. Just give them the box. Go ahead and give them that nappy dugout. And he be like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Kiss them every once in a while and shit. He cool. But the women, they the ones that need the most affection, the hugging and the rubbing and the, everything is going to be all right, feeling and shit. All the ones that mainly need that. And when we love you, we don't mind doing that because you are possession and we enjoy you. But then when you don't have that, see, and you desire it, it's because you fucked up somewhere. Oh, it can't always be the men. Nah. Good amount of the time, it's because that woman wasn't happy. Oh, you ain't doing this, or you ain't, especially because of social media, you looking at what everybody else got and look down on what you have and you get disappointed. It's various reasons, you know. You ain't hitting it like I seen this dude hit it in these pornos and shit. And I thought I want, that's what I need. And you go find it, but then you get just that, and without the affection, without the real attraction and love, you know. And like she said, it's not as simple as like, oh, just go get your nails done so somebody can like touch your hand, or go get a massage so that somebody can, rub on your back. Those people don't know me. Those people don't love me. And that's the key, right? Like to get real, genuine affection from someone that you feel like they love you. To get that like physical touch from a loved one, somebody that cares about you. That's the key. And yeah, I don't know if anybody else can relate. But I'm telling you, it is a real thing. I feel. And the standards in this country is so high for these women that you have all these men that want to do this, but they are overlooked because they don't look this way and they don't have this and they don't meet the standards. Your standards, you see this so much. Even other women are calling women out in this society for that. Your standards are so high that you need to be by your goddamn self because the only man that you're looking for is an imagination in your head because you are not qualified to receive a man like that looking like this. You look like this. I want him to have all this money and be 6'5" and strong and muscular and no, what the fuck? And when you're young and you can't find that, right? Because you feel like you deserve that, or one of these young bulls probably put it on you and shit. You figure that's what you deserve every time. It ain't about what you deserve, okay? Because really, we worthy of death because we are, like the scriptures say, unto our face compared unto filthy rags. So when you overvalue yourself, there's nothing wrong with valuing yourself. Supposed to. When you overvalue yourself, you create these unrealistic ideals that you feel like you deserve. I feel and I think. Those words right there will really get your ass left in the dust. Because it ain't about what you feel and what you think. The reality of the situation might not match those things. Often they don't.
I'm like touch starvation, y'all. I don't. This isn't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Look at her. Do you feel like you want to touch her? When I look at her, I just get the energy of somebody difficult as fuck to deal with. No, I don't want to touch you. I wouldn't, if I was associated with you, I wouldn't even give you a hug. You know what I'm saying? And my homegirl, all my little homegirls and shit, I'm cool with. I don't have to be hitting them. Give them a hug. You know what I'm saying? But that's how we greet each other. Yeah, you cool. You know what I'm saying? And that'd be a lot. Because when you hit that wall and ain't nobody looking for you, a hug will make the difference in your life. So it's the same hug you took for granted when you was young and you looked a little bit better. You was worth more value. Now I got one more video just to give you an example because it took, older brother to basically tell y'all what's up, talking to his wife, talking to his woman or whoever, because it's about duty. It's not about happiness all the time. Happiness is not a island that you can a getaway island that you can go to, and every time you let me go to happiness because I don't feel happy right now. Let me go. No, that's a fleeting emotion. It comes and goes, and when it's not there, it's about duty. When it's there and when it's not, you still stand on duty because you have to have integrity to still hold on to that duty when everything isn't the happiest. And a lot of women in their relationships because of this lack of happiness. But if you looked at the time that they were together, the majority of that time, they have more ups and downs, and they'll throw all of that away. Don't nobody want to deal, especially in this country. A lot of these women are emboldened to argue with you, fight with you. Proverbs 21:19, it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. Let me tell you something. I've dealt with many women. I'm looking at her, she's definitely got that angry and contentious look, okay? Oh, that's just how I look. That's wrong, brother. Look, man. Experience. I can speak from experience. Dealt with big women, little women, tall, well, I don't really like tall, skinny women, thick women, humble women, proud women, all of that, man. So I'm speaking from experience. Proverbs 27:15. A continual dripping is in a very rainy day, and a continual dripping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. I just imagine you got a hole in your roof and that shit just keeps dripping, 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 dripping. That shit would drive you crazy, man. You'd be like, God, just listening to that over and over again, that'll do something to you. Okay? Like this. A shame Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 26:25. It says a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, which is a bitch. Female dog is a bitch, right? But she that is shamefaced will hear the Lord. Nobody want to deal with no bitchy ass woman, always tripping and nagging. And then they'll justify, well, it's because you're not doing this and you're not doing that. Let me tell you something. You can't tell me how to love you. You can't tell a man how to love you. This ideal romance that you see on these movies and these shows and you see in these fucking, books and read in these books and shit. And you see it on social media. That's not ideal for everybody. And even those people that present those things go through their ups and downs, but you can't tell a man how to love you. When a man loves you, you're not quick to tell a woman how to do so. Hey, you show them you love me, that's good enough. Because a person can feel when you really love them. And one of those main ways that love is established is by duty. You doing what you got to do for that individual. Even though I'm gonna show you the video. This is a perfect example of duty for love. All right.
Like y'all, it won't work. You want to make him love like y'all love, act like y'all act, be like y'all be, do like y'all do. Man can't do it like that. And the problem is, most of y'all grew up in homes, and you ain't never seen how a man act. You never seen how a man respond to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you out there thinking you understand and you know just based off of what TikTok saying and men on TikTok saying and everybody saying, you have no idea. Sit down, be quiet, and let the man that truly loves you love you. Not based on your terms, on his. He know what he doing. Stop trying to control him or manipulate him to be like you. No, we're two different beings. And if you really want a success in your relationship, let the man be the man. And if he love you, he'll sacrifice for you. That's a fact. If he don't, he won't. He won't do like what I'm doing. He won't get up without you. You don't have to push me to get out of bed. I'm just gonna get up anyway. Why? Because I got work to do. Why? Because I got sacrifices to make, obligations that I'm not running from. That's why. Women, you're different. You're different. Men are different. It's just different. There's nothing you can do to change it.
Are you saying all men are the same?
We're different. I didn't say all men are the same. I said men are different from women. And I tell you that when a man loves, there is sacrifice in it. If he don't, there's no sacrifice. If the man is, you got to push him out the bed, beg him to go to the job, that nigga don't love you. Because when he love for real, he going hard. The problem is, y'all don't know, because you ain't never seen it. Your mama raised you by herself. Her mama raised her by herself. And all y'all just going out together, all y'all see is a bunch of women. You don't really see how men interact. And so when you hear a man tell you how a man love each other, oh, he this, he that. But no. Men bond different. Our stuff is new, because we can't turn our love on and off like a woman. I remember my dad told me that. How a woman can love you today, and tomorrow, like, she don't even know you no more. I don't know how that is, because I'm a man. So I don't even try to think like that, because I'm not like that. There's no way I can be like that. It's not in me. My analogy of that is men love like cement. When you first pour cement, it's soft and running. You put up a containment wall around it, it holds it in place. Over time, you just get hard and hard and hard and hard and hard. Eventually, it gets so hard that you need
facts. Let's continue.
Doggone wrecking crane to break it, and even that is still stick together. But a woman, she don't love like that. Her love is different. She love like water. It evaporates over time.
I think you get that from your first love. You think you puppy love, and then everybody's young, so the young woman moves on, and you use that experience to attain it to all of your experiences as you grow up into adulthood. That women don't love like men do. Our love is temporary, whatever you said. Because
I didn't say temporary. I say it's different. That's why when the scripture talks about the woman, it says, women, submit to your husband. but it tells men to love their wives. Because women, they have to choose to love or submit. A man, when we love, it's just love. It just is what it is. There's no change. A woman would love a man based on how he treats her. She would treat him. Yeah, so I mean, that's a person. That's a human being. Regardless of how she treat him, if he love her, if you trust me, when a man love a woman, that woman can do all kinds of stuff. He gonna still love her. You believe me? This is why a man's heartbreak.
And that's true, you know, because as men, let me tell you something, man. And being in a leadership position, you always have to be, like the scripture says, you know, as a man of the Lord, you're supposed to be patient and apt to teach. Patience means to suffer. A lot of these women, you have to have patience, y'all. They might not get it at first, or they might, but we don't tear you down, because if we love you, we're going to be like, oh, baby, it's all right. Put up with it. You know, I didn't mean to, baby. I'm sorry. And not to say we don't all make mistakes, but y'all women, women can fuck up sometimes a lot, man. You know, and as a leadership position, we don't be quick to fire you. Now, if you work for one of these companies and shit, they'll fire your ass. Because being in a leadership role, they like, man, you messing up the value of this company. The gross income of this company. We got to let this motherfucker go and get somebody else. Men in a whole, we have more patience than y'all do.
You can't even fathom the heartbreak of a man when he loves a woman and she breaks his heart. A lot of men, matter of fact, most men never recover. Look at your daddy. Never recovered. Still to this day, in love with your mom. Never recovered. Never. And that's a lot of men. They don't recover. But women do. All she needs is she go through her little stuff that she go through, and she has sex with another man, and if he good to her, boom, that nigga is done. It's over. She'll never look back again. Mm-hmm. She'll suck her teeth before she go back to that. Like, y'all, it won't work.
Right. Well, not knowing that, you know, when a woman leaves a man, she's supposed to go back to that man that she left, not to a new man. You know, because let me tell you something. You've been years in a relationship, and the woman has, you know, not to say men ain't difficult to deal with. We bring our own issues to the table too, right? When you have duty and then love, you're able to overlook a lot of those things because you care about that person, especially when children are involved. We're making it together, so there's things that you just have to tolerate. And it don't be no real messed up stuff. And a lot of the times you ask a woman when y'all separate, like, hey, give me the successful percentage of our relationship. Like, let's put it in a percentage wise. How much of the time you were happy compared out of all the years we were together outside of 9? And if your percentage rate is above 80, that means that upon those last years or that last stretch of the relationship, they weren't happy and wanted to separate, wanted a divorce, which the majority of divorces initiated, I think it's in the 70s now, percentile wise, of the divorces that are coming in this country are from the women. Because in the most common ones, because they're not happy anymore. Okay? We can't love you like you want to be loved in the sense of what you think love is. And then a good amount of those women get that type of love in this kingdom, and they grow bored of it and they're not happy. They'll sit up and put up with a Chad or Tyrone they like looking at and that can fuck them good before they sit up and get all the things they ask for and be unhappy in this or that area, man. And how do I know that? Not just by experience, but you can look at the testimonials online. A lot of these real women is coming out and telling you what it is and breaking that sister code, sisterhood code, girl code, or whatever y'all call it, and just telling it how it is. And then they become an enemy to other women. A man's love and his affection come differently. I'll rub on you, love you, kiss you, I care about you. I get the fuck up and defend this. I give my life for this shit. A man don't expect a woman to do that. Girl, you better get out here and die for us. But this man, and then they'll say, well, how often does that happen? You wouldn't know. Because guess what? That's not your job. See, that's not shit. You don't know what the fuck is going on when you're not around. And we have to stand on whatever it is to get the mission accomplished for our family. You don't know about those ups and downs. I done walked in blizzards before for my family to get what the fuck I needed for us, man. You know what I'm saying? So the way we love, see, y'all don't even know what love is in the first place. Let's look at that word love real quick before we hit just a couple more scriptures, all right? Because on the real, y'all think love is just emotion, it's feeling. Whenever I'm around, I just get butterflies in my stomach and shit. And I just, it makes me want to just, look, man, love. Your understanding of love is warped. That's romance. And romance is not necessary in a relationship. That's just something that is placed there now because it's about duty, surviving together, building together. 2 John 1:6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it. Period. All law, statutes, and commandments tell you what love is. I'm supposed to treat you like the Lord says treat you. Okay? Make sure I take care of your food and raiment. Make sure you're straight and protect you and provide. All of this, you don't bring me roses. You don't do all of this other shit. You don't celebrate Swedish Day and Valentine's Day and all this dumb shit. That's not what love is. You don't make me feel this great way all the time, but yet I'm still taking care of your ass and doing what needs to be done and not tripping about it, man. See, what you associate love with in this society is wrong. Because this is what the Bible say love is. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. And his commandments, let's see what his commandments say. Let's get to that, man. Oh, man, but the Old Testament laws is done away with. No, they're not. See, y'all niggas, somebody lied to you. Somebody lied to you. Home skillet. All right? Because you got it twisted. These laws are still around. Genesis 3:16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. Right. Your sorrow and your conception when you having children and the things that you go through, like having that off menstruation, or whatever emotional issues and declines that you're going to go through. Right. Multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, because when you have children, and this, as a human being now, a woman feels that pain. And at one time, it was when a woman gave birth, it was kind of like how animals give birth, and they don't go through all this pain and contract. Like, nah, they give that birth, and they tired, exhausted, and then they regain their strength by their straight. Women, this is a curse from the Heavenly Father because of what Eve did. And then they say, well, I'm not Eve. You're right. But see, Eve had way more honor than the women of this generation do. The Bible say, the Lord say, it's a wicked and adulterous generation. It says, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. This is love. That's love, though. See, if you got a man that give a fuck about you, and that's willing to deal with you, good, bad, all, because he's seeing you have more value than not, and he treats you accordingly, he's going to lead you down the right direction, the right path, man. You know what I'm saying? He's going to take care of shit. He's going to handle it. But then you think all men are supposed to do that. No. See, the man that the Most High linked you with in the first place, that's what he set aside for them to do. You know, the little quirky shit that you do and your OCD and all these little shits that he learned to deal with your ass. The next man ain't going to deal with that. He going to see that shit within the first couple weeks or days. He going to be like, oh, man, fuck this bitch. And he's going to hit her and quit your ass. I ain't put up with that crazy shit. But guess who used to? That man that you grew unhappy with, you know? What your desire is to your husband, not to all these men in the world that you feel like you like and that you deserve. It's to the husband that he assigned to you. And let me tell you something. A lot of women don't recognize who that real husband is until he's gone or until they done kick that nigga to the curb. Seeing a lot of women diss these men because they didn't look like this and that. But then when they hit that wall, they wish they had them. Because you weren't raised up correctly and to know what to look for. And the scriptures say, fathers, marry your daughters off to a man of understanding. Because that was the father's job to do that. Didn't say father and mother, said fathers. Because we know how men are. We know what to look for. Okay? Y'all get caught up in the looks and shit. Not to say men don't do the same thing. Of course, I see your fat ass, big titties and all that. Got some good box, all of that. Sloppy mouth. You know, like, no. But then she can't cook, she can't clean, she don't give a fuck about you. She in the streets, selfish, always very argumentative. No. You chose wrong. And guess what? You have children with that, you gotta deal with that shit. Exodus 2:23 and 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude of evil. Let me go back. That's for another lesson. I want to get that though. Going back to Proverbs 21 and 19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Nobody want to deal with this anger. What you so angry for? Because you are most likely going to be governed by your emotions. Your emotional state is going to dictate a lot of the things you say and do. Well, men, we as leaders, we can't do that. In a leadership position, we can't be led by our emotions and how we feel. We have to be led by our logic and our wisdom and experience and our knowledge. You know, we have to apply those things. Okay. But when they angry and they just disappointed and they just get to running and taking, every man ain't gonna accept that shit. See that dude, that babe that used to accept that, the next nigga ain't gonna take that shit. He gonna, oh, this bitch crazy. I done hit her 2 or 3 times. I'll slide, man. I ain't finna deal with that. And then here come the next nigga and the next nigga and the next nigga saying and doing the same shit. Because you think they're supposed to accept that shit like your baby daddy or that one that you used to be with, your ex-husband or that boyfriend you had all them years did. No. It's not a man's job to take your shit. But the one that did deal with those little quirky things and the issues, the little issues and the trauma that you had, you fucked that up. Most case scenarios, you fucked that up. And then you go looking for it when it's not present, and then you expect other men to have those ideals. No. It's Isaiah 3 and 16. Moreover, Yahweh said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, so you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives, proud, that's that haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. Wanton goes back to the word undisciplined. Always looking another man in their face when they walk past you, just with your man holding their hand. I hate that shit. Looking like, oh yeah, I fuck you, right in another man's eyes, and the man, your husband, right there holding hands with you, with the kids and all that. Yeah, we know what that look is. Oh, you just assuming he just look, man. Not no spring chicken. Okay? And it's not something to be misinterpreted. It's something to be wisely deciphered and discerned, man. Because your eyes is going to tell the story. You don't think so, but the motherfucker looking at you can tell. they got some sense and some experience. Stretch forth necks. Oh, they doing that, rocking their neck. Niggas, let me tell you something, you know. And wanton eyes walking and mincing as they go, shaking your damn hips, shaking that ass. We say, I see you activate your, Tupac say, I see you activate your hips because I'm watching, switching your hips and your ass. That's that mincing as you go. And making tinkling with their feet. You know, back in the day, them ankle bracelets. They used to be real big back in the day. Even in the ancient world. It says, therefore, the Lord will smite with the scab the crown at the head of the daughters of Zion. So a lot of y'all bald headed as hell. And a lot of the times it don't be because your hair wasn't good. You was just born with this cursed scalp. Oh, you put them, that whole demonic ritual of putting perms in your head and all of that. And then they destroy your hair and the texture of your hair. You didn't had it in there so long that your hair is always gonna grow messed up now. That's part of them curses, man. You trying to seek to have an unnatural texture in your hair, and you wonder why your hair falling out and shit, and your hairline falling back. You know what I'm saying? But that woman in that video didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? But was she the most fit, trim, feminine looking woman? No. And trust me, she was an older woman. You didn't hit the wall, sweet. The Lord, therefore, the Lord will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts, right? And he gonna let it know to be exposed with your secret parts, okay? Hey, all of them areas you can't see, you know, your genitals and your breasts. This woman doing this video, your secret part, her titties, you can tell they hang down to her knees. See, you an older woman now. Oh, you getting on there, that's wrong. Hey, you're not in the best shape and you ain't tried to work on yourself. Hey, you an older woman. And guess what? All your mistreatment to your body and other men around you, whoever it may be, is added up to that. You hitting the wall with the flapjack chest. It's Isaiah 3:18. In that day, Yahweh will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cowls and their tires round like the moon. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, all that jewelry and all that glamour that they promote in this vain place. It says the bonnets, Lord knows they walk around with them damn bonnets and them caps on. And, pretty sure they went to the bonnets, the nice ones. And you just ghetto as hell. You walk around with them bonnets on. These young women now. My mom would have never let my sister do that back in the day. And now they got males wearing shit. Lord have mercy. And the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen, the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. And Lord knows, that's a lot of, let me just put it like this, man. The Heavenly Father will curse your box, man. And not just your box. Like, I've heard of women smelling like fish so bad, even when they now ain't just like smelling like straight fish. And they can't do anything about the smell. They're not overweight. Sometimes they are. But nonetheless, the Most High will put a curse on that box, man. Turn that motherfucker into Pandora's box real quick. Okay? And more times than not, I done slept with other nations' women as the ratio of so-called black women. And that box be smelling a little tart, man. It's like real shit. Not to say they just so nasty and shit, your pH be off because of the things you eat. See, there's things that inherit these curses, things that you do, a mind state, a tradition that'll throw you off and make you susceptible to these. Because if our women do what they're supposed to do, they wouldn't be in that situation. Eat lawfully but nonetheless, it says, and it shall come to pass, instead of sweet, there shall be stink, and instead of great, Oh shoot, excuse me. And instead of a girdle, a rent. A girl got a rent. I ain't talking about a rent. I ain't talking about, rent that you have to pay for your household. Okay? No, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about that midsection, the way that your ass is built. And when you built a certain way,
I am really struggling.
see, you can tell she got a rent. I don't even need to see the rest of her to know. We can see that by the folds in her armpits and shit. That she got a couple chins. You know what I'm saying? More chins in the Chinese phone book. That's what they say. I can tell that this is a big woman. All right. Nonetheless, I know what the midsection is looking like. It's toe up. It's rent. And the majority of our women, you so-called black women, are in obese stage because of these curses, man. Same curses that I'm reading out to you right now. It says, and instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well-set hair, baldness. Majority of our women wearing them fucking wigs with the suction cup on it, and sew-ins and weaves, and God damn, that's a curse from the Heavenly Father. And instead of a stomach or a girdle of sackcloth, yeah. Once again, that sloppy built, big built. Majority of our women are sloppy and burning instead of beauty. All right. Micah 7 and 10. Once again, these are prophecies. Prophesy means to speak before. Micah 7 and 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it. And right now, our women, for the most part, are our enemies in the nation of Israel, man. That's another reason you know who we are, because you do not see that on a large scale. That's what you see with us, especially when we live by our customs. And our women are really put at variance against us, man. You got a man trying to be righteous in his truth and follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Hey, man, that demon is going to get on your woman often. 9 times out of 10, as long as that this kingdom carries on, it's not going to end well. That demon is going to win. And that world to draw them back in. Not to say we got some sisters out here that's still looking for a husband or that's that ride or die for their man, but it's not many of them, man. It says, then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy God? Mine eyes shall behold her. Yeah, a lot of y'all looking at it like, Carl, look, there's separations going on because, we don't want to follow the church. Or you want to call him Jesus and you don't believe in his name is this. Well, that's enough for me to just go on, take the kids and just, you know what I'm saying? And they think they in the right, and they find out the hard way that they not. They say, and shame shall cover her. And that day, all hell break loose. That shame is going to hit you. In the kingdom, that shame is going to hit you. Okay? Because you're going to know that you fucked up. Okay? In a hole, though. When all hell break loose, especially, our women going to know you fucked up, man. And you dealing with it by yourself, scared to death, yeah. Where is the Lord? Where is Yahweh thy God? Walk in the name of our God, because you was raised calling him Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, and Jesus, and Joshua, and Elohim. You was raised in the church talking about that, so that's what's sticking in your head. A lot of y'all proud as fuck, man. Oh, Yahweh Shai, this some bullshit, And that day, like it said, man, shame shall cover her. Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as a mire in the street. Just the mud and the trash. You're gonna be trodden down in that day, man. It says, 1 Corinthians 11:7, it's the last one. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image of the glory of the Most High, but the woman is the glory of man, of the man. So when you look at a nation and you look at they women and they rebellious and talking crazy to the men, y'all are our glory. So our glory is pretty fucked up if they're against us, if they're our enemies, and all these other nations don't have to deal with that on a larger scale. You know, that's tarnishing to us. And everybody's gonna look down on the men of that nation like, y'all ain't shit. Y'all can't even get your women in order and shit, you know? 1 Corinthians 11:8, for the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. So what the fuck? For them to be so liberally out here just divorcing and going their own way, love you one day and don't love you the next, and then find somebody else to go into them. Because once you have sex, raw sex especially, with another man, you cut the soul ties with that last man and establish new ones. See, that's how women are, because you take it into you. As men, everything we do is outside of us. When we sin, it's outside of us. All right. For the most part, when a woman take that, she take it on the inside of her. You taking another man's ride, whether it be an act of adultery or just multiple men, you take that on the inside of you. Okay. You are changing at a molecular structure. Your DNA is altered when you're dealing with another man. And so you take on his seed, and his seed remains in you. That studies show for the rest of your life. And it alters your DNA and the way you think. Literally, your psyche is altered by that. The study has shown this to be true, and you can see it just by looking at them. Chick get to acting like the last dude she fucked with. Often, if she stayed with him long enough, you know, it says, neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power over her head because of the angels. In other words, take care of your shit. All right. For this cause ought the woman have power. You got the power in your hands to take care of your glory. Because if a woman is a man's glory, a woman's glory, as the scripture say, is her hair. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the Lord. Why? Because it was originally created, because it said it's not good for man to be alone. How much more so if it's not good for man to be alone like that? How much the woman? Y'all like half a man. You came from man. So, long story short, I don't have the time to take the sympathy for these women, these individuals that put themselves in these situations and think that everybody is supposed to cater to your feelings. You're not a child anymore. Even though mentally they show that most women, regardless of how many diplomas and how many doctrines you receive, and you can retain knowledge of certain things, mentally you don't develop further than 14. Once again, this is the science, and they'll say science. Look, this is facts, and emotionally you don't. You stay at that point. Men, we can't keep acting like we do when we're teenagers, because that wouldn't make a good leader. We all emotional. We here, we there. We just led by emotion, our feelings and shit. We have to mature out of that to become an efficient leader. That's when we become men. Women, you stay in that same state. Even when you 30, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Because that's how the Most High made you. You need a man. You need a leader. Yeah, when you fuck that up and you keep burning those bridges and think the world owe you something, and you end up in a situation like these women.
Be like touched. I know someone's.
All right. Get your mind right. But reality, it's not something that you have to accept. It just is, whether you accept it or not. So either you're going to graduate from it, accept it, and evolve and play the role that we were created to play, you're going to be destroyed by reality. There's only one truth. There's not your truth and how you feel. Because the world don't give a fuck about that. All right, so with that, man, this is the state that our women is in. And it was prophesied of. That's why it's happening now. But when all hell break loose, like the scriptures say in Isaiah, I believe that was in Isaiah or Ezekiel, it said a man should be hiding place from the wind. And it goes on to say like a shadow on a dry place. You know, when the scriptures loosely translated, when the scriptures going into that, it shows you how much you're going to need a man. And when it's going to happen, when all this shit goes down, that we've been showing you through the scriptures, then you're going to understand you need a man. But by the end, it's going to be too late. You're going to be looking like this times 100. Better get it right while you can. Stay circumspect. And until the next time, I pray you edify. Shalom.